This video explains the steps you could take when planning your answers to the questions following your initial review of the exam. We'll focus on question 1, as the steps we're going to explain generally apply to the other questions as well. So to start, begin by reviewing the first few sentences on the right-hand side of the screen to get a feel for the question context. The requirements in question 1 direct you to Exhibit 1, which in this exam is a partner's email. This email contains the instructions that you must respond to and mark allocations. Before closing the requirements, do note the professional mark instructions. Review the initial information in Exhibit 1 and highlight any key points. For example, audit the group, all subsidiaries, except for a foreign subsidiary, same year end of 31st of May, and same currency. From reading through the partner's email, you'll find that you are asked to write briefing notes. So open the briefing notes response option, copy the partner instructions and paste them into the response option in order to assist your planning and to lay out headings that will structure your answer. When you do copy the requirement across, be aware that you'll lose any highlighting you've done. Watch out for the formatting and reformat the text if you need to. This may require you to separate out the sub-requirements to make them clearer for reading. You may also wish to copy the initial information on the right-hand side of the screen into the briefing notes to allow easy referencing as you plan and prepare your answers. Note that the various windows in the exam environment can be moved around and resized, and now is a good time to arrange your screen to make it easier to use. We've put Exhibit 1 on the left and the briefing notes response option on the right. Obviously, you can lay the screen out in whichever way works best for you, but either way, it's important that you don't cover up the top or bottom toolbars. And note that if you do close the briefing notes, the window is only minimised. You don't need to worry that you're losing any work. Next, we recommend you go on to analyse each requirement in detail. This is in order to identify the specific actions the examiner expects you to carry out in your response. You can start by adding emphasis to keywords by making them bold. We recommend you do this to the verbs and any calculations or analytical procedures, as well as the word and. Here we've done this for parts A and B. However, you should repeat this for the whole question. Now is also a good time to estimate the division of marks to help you allocate your time and effort accordingly. For part A, you will need to allocate marks to your analytical procedures as well as the risk evaluation. In AAA, there are limited marks available for calculations, and so it's likely that ratio and trend calculations will be capped at a maximum of 3 marks. Each of your risk evaluations could earn between 2 to 3 marks. This gives you a good feel for the number of risks that need to be identified and evaluated. Covering 5 to 6 audit risks in detail will score better than simply referring briefly to 10 audit risks. Although you may find this mark split difficult at first, rest assured that the more you practice answering and debriefing questions, the better feel you'll get for how the examiners split the marks. Now you can review each exhibit in turn, copying information from the exhibits to the relevant section of the briefing notes. Here we've copied 2 risk factors that will be used as part of our final answer to Part A. Remember that in question 1 there are professional marks available for presentation and logical flow. Add the heading Briefing Notes and use the requirements as the main headings for your answer. You can prepare your final answers underneath each sub-requirement, keeping in mind the need for additional subheadings to make your answer easier to read and mark. This planning and use of headings will help you achieve the professional marks. In this exam, question 1 requires analytical procedures to be undertaken, and draft financial statements are provided in Exhibit 3 as a spreadsheet. Note that other AAA exams may not follow this format. To aid your analysis, you can open the spreadsheet response option, copy the exhibit spreadsheet, and paste it into your response option. Take advantage of the spreadsheet functionality. For example, in a column to the right, you could calculate year-on-year movements to help identify significant or material items. Please remember that to earn marks, a calculation must be used and explained within your briefing notes in a relevant way. Calculations should be referenced appropriately. Section B questions do not have requirements within an exhibit and are likely to involve fewer exhibits overall. However, when you move on to Section B, you can follow a similar planning process to the one we've outlined here for Section A.